I'm Gideon, and today we're talking hypervisors. So, what is a hypervisor? Why do we want one? Why do we want to use it? And what value does it bring to us? Hypervisor technology has been around for many, many years. Started off by VMware probably more than 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Hypervisor technology has been a way that we have reduced the cost of IT tremendously. So, what is a hypervisor? And let's have a look at what value it can bring to us. In our IT environment, we typically have a server, and a server has CPU, memory, and disk, and a network card. And on top of that, we go load an operating system. On top of the operating system, we go and load some other application, be it a web server, a mail server, or application server. So, what does a hypervisor do for us? A hypervisor allows us to take the same physical hardware and use that same physical disk, CPU, and memory and present that to a hypervisor. The hypervisor will virtualize all that physical hardware and present it to virtual machines. So disk is presented via data stores and network is presented via a network switch inside the hypervisor layer. The virtual machine then uses the data store and gets presented a slice of disk out of a data store as if it was actual physical disk. Same with memory and same with CPU and same with network. So we can present a network to the hypervisor with various VLANs, and in the hypervisor network switch, we can take one of those VLANs and present that VLAN and that disk to the virtual machine. The virtual machine sitting on top of the hypervisor makes no distinction whether it's running in a virtual environment or physical hardware, and sees disk, CPU, memory, and network as if it would be on physical hardware. The operating system we load on the hypervisor virtual machine, on the virtual machine, is exactly the same operating system as we would have loaded on the normal physical machine. So we install a normal version of Windows or Linux on that virtual machine, and then we can install whatever application we want on top of that, be it a web server, be it a mail server, etc. So why do we actually want a hypervisor? The hypervisor allows us to create a number of virtual machines. So now we can have a separate virtual machine for our web server, a separate virtual machine for our mail server, our application servers, our finance server, etc. And it all runs on one physical server underneath. Many companies use this virtualization technology to improve the reliability of the system and the uptime. In a virtualization environment, the hypervisors, you can take a number of these hypervisors, connect them together, and you can move a virtual machine without any service interruption from one physical machine to another physical machine. And the users wouldn't know better that you've actually changed the underlying hardware. All of our cloud technologies, all the cloud providers, use this virtualization technology or hypervisor technology to actually present servers in the virtual environment. So typically when you go buy a virtual machine from Amazon, it will be virtualized. If you go buy one from Linode or from Rackspace or any of the other cloud providers, Microsoft with their Azure cloud, all of these cloud providers use some type of hypervisor or virtualization technology. The major players are obviously VMware, which has got a large market share. Microsoft has got a version of a hypervisor called Hyper-V, and Huawei has introduced the market with their Huawei Fusion Compute hypervisor. All of these hypervisors typically provide very, very similar type of functionality. You can create a virtual machine, you can reuse your underlying hardware, and you can migrate machines from one physical server onto another physical server, allowing you to go and do maintenance and repairs on the first server. The use of virtualization technology reduces your power bill considerably because now you've got less servers. Instead of having 20 servers, you could have 3 servers. It reduces your network cabling, so your port charges on your network switches get reduced. The trick behind it is now to find the right hypervisor technology for your company and figuring out whether you go with VMware, whether you go with Microsoft, whether you go with Huawei. I'm going to be doing a number of videos on the Huawei technology just because it's unknown, and I've had an opportunity to play with some of the technology. So hopefully you've learned something about virtualization technologies and hypervisors, and hopefully you'll spend more time actually using some of this technology. Check out the other videos on this channel. There's going to be lots of videos all around hypervisor technologies, how it works. I'm specifically going to be doing a number of videos on the Huawei technology. It seems very nice, seems to work well, and comes in at a very aggressive price point at the moment. So thank you for watching. If you like the channel, if you like the video, click the subscribe button and press the like icon.